Lesson 58, Learning to Read and Play on the E string from Learn Violin Fast, Book 1. Now, page 75 or lesson 58, we now have whole notes, half notes, and quarters. So we are starting to read more rhythms. If you recall, a whole note is just an empty circle and it gets 4 counts or 4 beats. Half note is an empty circle with a stem. We hold it for 2 beats. And a quarter note is a filled circle with a stem. And again, remember, I keep repeating that the way we read rhythm is we read the note, what kind of note it is, but also we look at the spacing. And if you look at the spacing of the top line in lesson 58, you'll notice that just 4 whole notes take up the entire line, right? That is because whole notes are very long, so they're going to take a lot of room. So the bar is going to be quite long. That helps us to know that it's 4 counts. You'll notice that, although we didn't learn this yet, but there is the staff, the clef, the treble clef, that's the wavy part. Then we have 4 sharps on the E string, and then we have 4/4. So all those things mean something, right? So the treble clef tells us that this is the clef we use for violin, right? The treble clef assigns the second line as G. It's also known as G clef. The 4 hashtags, the 4 sharps, tell us that every F is going to be sharp, every C is going to be sharp, every G is going to be sharp, and every D is going to be sharp. And the only thing we need to know right now is that we're on the E string, we're just going to put tapes on the fingers. And then the 4/4 is the time signature, and it tells us that every measure, every bar, remember how we divide the staff into measures of bars with the bar lines, that every bar will be equal to 4 quarter notes. We're going to learn more of this later, but just know that the 4/4 means there's 4 quarters, 4 quarter notes, or 4 beats in each measure. So I'm going to pluck and I'm going to count out now the rhythm. So, or I'm going to hold each note, the top line in lesson 58 for 4 counts. So E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. So the top line was whole notes. You have to pluck and count for 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the second line is half notes, and you'll notice that they're twice as close together. And the second line, we get to hold it for 2 counts. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, if you want to count and be a little bit more accurate about how you count, we know that each measure has 4 beats. And instead of saying each beat, you should feel the beat, but you only say the note that you see. So for example, the first 2 lines, if we articulate this, would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. So that's another way to keep track of counting, is that you only say the beats that the note you have, but you feel each beat of the measure. All right, now we're going to play through. I'm going to take stops. This entire page is divided, each lesson is 2 lines. So I'm going to stop at the end of each line. All right, so this is lesson 58, the first 2 lines. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll notice that for the whole notes, did I move my bow really fast or slower? If you said slower, you're absolutely correct. So when you have very long notes, if you move the bow very fast, you're simply not going to have enough bow for all those notes. So when you have very long notes, remember to slow the bow down so you have enough bow for all the beats in that note. This is now the 3rd and 4th line. Now we have half notes and quarters. You'll notice that for the quarter notes, I use maybe about half a bow. This is what we call a détaché. So this is 3rd and 4th line of lesson 58. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the next two lines are on the E string. They're all quarter notes, so you don't have to think about the rhythm because every note gets one beat. But the fifth and sixth lines are tricky because now it jumps. You'll notice that the notes are E, E, G sharp, E, E, G sharp, F sharp, A. So when we have notes that are stepwise, or 1, 2, 3, 4, or open 1, 2, 3, for example, that's a lot easier to do as opposed to fingers have to jump because now we go from 1 to 3 or index to ring. So this exercise looks pretty easy, but it's actually a little bit trickier because you now have to skip a finger and you have to make sure that when you go from open E to 2, you don't go oh, 1, 2, you go oh, and then 2 fingers right away. All right, and a couple of gentle reminders from the beginning of this book. Stand tall, shoulders down, right? Look left, violin on the collarbone, shoulder rest on the shoulder, lean your head back. Left hand, do not squeeze the wrist. Make sure the knuckle and thumb support the neck gently, and there's a space at the bottom of the thumb right here. There's got to be a little space here. The violin's neck cannot be here. It's got to be here. We want to keep our fingers curved. We're going to press the string with the fingers, but not squeeze the entire arm or shoulders. So we're going to be nice and loose. The elbow is going to be under the violin and not flaring behind it, not like this, right? So head back, elbow under the violin. We're going to have strong fingers. We're going to have relaxed shoulders and hands the best we can. All right, so this is line 5 and 6 of number 58. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and the last two lines of page 75 or number 58 is the 7th and 8th lines, and we have jumps, we have steps, we have half notes, and we have quarters. Again, you could look at the notes, you could say the finger, and you could say the note names, you could also pencil stuff in, you could pluck guitar style, pluck on the shoulder, or go straight to the bow. All right, so this is the end of the page, last two lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you in the next lesson when we get to read more music. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and follow, and I'll see you next class.